All right, welcome to this YouTube video, taking a trading influencer from zero to $100,000 per month funnel breakdown. I kid you not, guys, this will be the most valuable video you're gonna ever watch if you're an influencer or you want to monetize your audience, you want to sell a course, but you don't know how to, where, why, what, like all of that shit when it comes to actually monetizing your audience. So in this video, I'm gonna break up exactly how we're taking a trading influencer from zero to $100,000 per month. Right now, we're surpassing $30,000 per month or 40K in just 1 month of working with them. And eventually, in about 2 months, we're going to get to that 100K per month mark, literally making money from his followers with a lot of profit margins, I think 80 to 90% because it's a course. And I'll be showing you exactly how we're doing it. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and start and show you guys how we're literally breaking down each thing, how we're testing the audience, how we're converting, the viewers to followers, to booked calls, to money, to cash, right? So let's get started, right? So who is this, right? This is a client called Samir Jazini, right? He's based in Dubai. He's in the trading. He's not a trading guy, but he's more of a financial trader, right? He's like a financial trader. He talks about gold, Bitcoin, not necessarily Bitcoin, but like gold and silver, trading as a general advice, right? And so he has around 377,000 followers, but this is his niche, but his content is towards like making money and, him like having a character, which is like religion and some really cool advices for young men who want to make more money or people feeling stuck in life, right? So I would say it's like the version 2 of Andrew Tate, right? Platform is just mainly actually on Instagram. There's no TikTok. It doesn't have a lot of followers on there. Audience size 377K. Type of content: financial, education, religion, and lifestyle. All right. He posts some lifestyle content, religious content, making money online, trading advice, and some of them really actually go viral. Right. Now the problem is like Samir and his brother actually, who we work with very closely, called Jalal. They wanted to monetize their audience. They know there is power in the audience because this whole time he's been in the trading niche and he has a lot of followers. And they know like, hey, it's time to actually present something to the audience. Like we want to make money from the followers. So he wanted to monetize his audience the right way from the start. He had ideas. He knew there was demand and eventually wanted to sell like a mentorship course. But there was no system tying everything together. He was great at generating attention, but he didn't have a clear path for turning that attention into a predictable revenue. And that's where he brought us in. Right. And again, we're not like selling we're literally selling information, like info for his followers because it's the best business model, high profit margins, and he can teach. And there's a lot of people who are interested in content. And so I'm going to walk you through, guys, how we set up the course, how we start selling it and whatnot. So the biggest thing here is diagnosis, right? Before we even offer something to the audience, right? Most people don't ever go to this section, and that's why they fail, right? It's like they launched like a digital book. We have a client, like she has around 200K, 300K followers. Like there's a lot of followers on engagement. I kid you not, she launched a real estate ebook and like she got 6 sales of like $49 out of like 30,000 story views and like a lot of people who saw the content. And the reason why it's because a lot of people underestimate the diagnosis to understand who their audience is, right? So here it's like we're gathering data. So what I asked Samir is like he gave me access to his Instagram account and like Meta Business Suite because he's a business creator or something. And so I gathered all the insights I can. Like if we go literally like every single feature on Instagram that tells me insight about his audience, I went to it. Like followers in the past 30 days, 90 days, overall unfollows, top locations, gender, impression, top content, like all of that shit, right? I just kept, putting screenshot after screenshot on a drive folder. Went also to the Meta Business Suite and discovered a lot of things. For example, like who's mostly viewing him, which age, which is 25 to 34. And the reason why we're doing this is because I really want to know what to offer, what to price the program, who are we really talking with, right? And I'm going to show you guys like the full diagnosis and how you can do this to know exactly how to place an offer, come up with an offer, position it to when you want to launch on Instagram. You can get a lot of fucking money. We noticed that Amman and Jordan is Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, like those are the top 3 countries. And some of them are Egypt, some views, impressions, then clicks. We noticed that the story views were averaging 1,000, 2,000 views, which was really, really low. And this is like, if you tell me like what is the biggest takeaway from here, that I like, what is the first thing I look at? I always look at the story views, because the conversion mechanisms that we're gonna talk to turning followers into money is just purely by stories, and I'm gonna explain later why. So if he has like 300,000 followers and only 3,000 of those people are viewing the stories, that means we're gonna have to train the algorithm to get the stories up. So when we want to pitch on the stories, we can have at least 10k, 30k, 50,000 views. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. Revealing all the secret sauce later on in the mirror reward there. All right, so this is the phase where I gather all the data about the audience. Like, I want to get nitty gritty. Who is the audience? Like views, like insights, every fucking thing I can pull. Like story views, Meta Business Suite, every single thing I want to have on this creator. I want it all screenshotted and uploaded to me and ChatGPT to actually diagnose. Right now, the fast way to actually diagnose your audience and see if they're potentially qualified to have an offer and what price potentially you should have it at is just drop all of this into ChatGPT, or basically ChatGPT, and it will do all the diagnosis for you. For me, I would rather do it first and then drop it to ChatGPT to kind of maybe finalize an offer or double check. But here's the results post the diagnosis, right? Most of his audience are Arab men aged between 18 to 35, with a meaningful secondary segment at age between 35 to 44. Located mainly in Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, Algeria, Iraq, with a smaller pockets in UAE and KSI. This will start to tell us more on the quality of the audience, because there isn't a lot of quality in Egypt, neither Syria, but there is quality audience in Jordan and Lebanon. Largely aspirational and speculative, not yet established professionals. Many are early or struggling traders, not consistently profitable. A large portion are self-educated, consuming YouTube, Twitter, Telegram, and Instagram for market insights. They're getting exposed to trading influencers, courses, signals all the time, get-rich narratives. They're emotionally driven by financial freedom, status, and escape, but mentally skeptical. The biggest thing here is like, this is so important, because once you get to know who your audience is, like once you get to know who, like this was my diagnosis personally, not ChatGPT, but because I'm really experienced in the info space of like when I'm seeing all that data. But the biggest takeaway from this audience is like they're very skeptical, right? They're very skeptical. Yes, they have aspiration, but they're constantly being exposed by trading influencers, make money online influencers. They've been scammed before. So if we position an offer later on and we follow the narrative like, hey, get rich quick, or use a certain keyword they dislike, we instantly lose our audience. That's why we have to basically make sure that we're going on a full diagnosis here to really, 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 again, make sure who we're speaking to, what to say, and what to avoid. Have likely been burned before by trading courses, signals, or paid groups. They consume content for confirmation, perspective, validation. They follow Samir primarily as a market commentator, a voice that explains what's happening, a person they listen to, not yet someone they follow instructions from. They comfortably watch and like content, but hesitant to engage directly. And the reason why, how are we translating this data, is because we saw the engagement from views on Instagram Reels and the follower count to engagement on the story itself. We noticed that there is a big gap. And the reason why, it's because, again, they trust Samir as a person who can commentate, but not yet to take action on whatever he says, right? So this tells us really that we have to do a lot of warm up for the audience before pitching in, like really warm up the audience. And I'll show you exactly how we can warm up the audience and get them exposed to Samir and position Samir as a trust authority. So when he offers something, they're gonna open their credit cards and buy it. This can literally be applying to you, because most of the influencers we onboard have the same issue here. All right. So there is low tendency to initiate DMs unless explicitly invited and emotionally primed. Many are not yet disciplined, structured, or system driven. They are idea collectors, not action takers. Financially, some have disposable capital. Here we're getting a little bit to know more about, like, what money do they have? Are they really quality? And, in short, like they do have money, but they don't trust Samir yet. All right. So again, they respond to authority, selectiveness, and realism than motivational promises. They are watching to decide if Samir is different, not to buy it. So this tells me, like, this document here tells me exactly how should I position Samir later on in the when we're having an offer for his audience. Now, here's another section of my diagnosis, like what's really strong from the analytics side. Reels reach is very strong with consistent high views. Content is being pushed heavily to non-followers. Watch time on Reels is high, showing strong hooks. Likes and shares on Reels are healthy. Posting consistently is strong across Reels and Stories. Story reach number are 1,000 to 4,000 per frame. They're stable. Audience growth rate is as high due to discovery content, right? So what's off? Story engagement quality is very low. Like very few people reply or share. Stories are consumed passively and not interactively. Large story batches reduce retention and completion rate. Many stories have no text, hook, or framing. Follower engagement is weak. High follow to unfollow ratio indicates low loyalty. Low DM initiation from stories. Low profile clicks. Weak transition from stories to action. Stories lack sequences. Engagement is shallow. Call to, like, again, account is reach heavy but depth. Like the biggest thing here is the account is reach heavy but it's depth light, right? So there's not a lot of depth, and it's very funny because this is literally exactly what Samir was in a position before, especially on stories. And I'm going to explain why stories are really important for us as a metric to decide like how we're going to position our offer, because this is where we're going to do all the selling. We're not going to do a selling through Reel or whatever. All we have to do is literally nurture the audience through stories, sell them on stories, because this is our conversion mechanism. But back forward, like before we onboard this client, like Samir was all over, very random with the stories he was posting and the content he was posting. Like there wasn't any direction. He was hitting, but there wasn't any direction that would move him forward to making money from his followers. And that's why this diagnosis and analytics came up to be that, because there was no direction and guidance. And this is where I stepped in to basically draw the plan and start to take action. All right. So how do we start monetization, right? Now that we gathered data, we want to basically start posting on Instagram stories. And what we want to do is we want to trick the algorithm to get as much as views as possible. So the day when we were going to pitch the story, and we're going to show you how, we're going to have a lot of people DM us, and we're going to turn those conversations into booked calls. And once we turn those conversations to booked calls, we're going to turn them to money, right? So the biggest thing here is how can I warm up the audience and how can I increase views on stories? Now, this is really done very, very strategically. This is another client, not from ours, but he's called Q Banks. And this is exactly like how he did his warm up phase. This is like a template. And the biggest thing is about literally having those engaging story questions, right? For example, like having Q&As, polls, right? Q&As, polls, and engaging questions to really gather data and get the algorithm to boost your stories to more viewers, right? And so how we're gonna do that is I did like a 7-day warm up plus mini launch, right? And I'm gonna show you the vast effect of that. So I posted this Q&A, right? It's like, I got something coming big for traders soon. This is literally not even talking to people who are non-traders. This is talking to only traders, right? Like a very specific pocket of audience, and still we made a lot of conversations happen and cash on the side just by speaking that very specific ICP. But most of his followers are not even trading, but they want to get into trading. But I'm going to show you the power of daily sequences and story sequence, right? As soon as he posted that Q&A, right, usually he was getting 1,000, 2,000 views per story. We got 5,000 views per story. And so what I told Samir is like, right now we're going to gather Q&A, we're going to warm up the audience, right? And we're going to basically nurture them. This is the biggest part of stories because you get to play your own game very strategically. And when you want to pitch, right? When you want to pitch after warming up and nurturing up and getting the algorithm to boost your stories, whenever you want to post on a story, this is where you can really make money. So I told Samir, like, hey, I'm going to post the Q&A, right? All you have to do is just answer the questions for the next 2 days. And so what he did is he picked like the top 5 questions, and they were really good because, again, those questions are used to nurture the audience, because guess what? We're picking the questions right off the audience, right? And those questions can pre-handle objections later on, can disarm beliefs, can nurture the audience, and can really get them warm up. It's like, wow, like he read my mind. And like finally someone, like I had this question in mind and he's answering it, right? And so for day 1, day 2, he was literally answering this question with full effort, full value, giving a lot of value, which is very key. And so on day 2, he did also the same, picking questions, answering them, and getting the views. Like as you can see on the next day, This got 5,000 views. This got 13,000 views. Right? The reason why is because we're training the algorithm to basically, we're training the algorithm to up the views, and at the same time we're nurturing the audience. So when we want to pitch on day 6 or day 7, we're gonna have a lot of people basically reaching out and telling us, hey, I want to buy your shit because I've been watching you for the past 7 days, right? Story 2 is again an engagement Q&A. It's like how long have you been trading? 0 to 1 years, 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 plus 3 years. 13,000 views, right? And we got around 89 interactions, 252 profile visits, and views about 13,000. This is like only day 3. Like he hasn't done any of that type, and like now we can start to see the action of posting on stories. The biggest thing on day 3, he had a family event, so he couldn't really. He had like an emergency, so he couldn't really. Like what I told him to basically answer the Q&As from the past story. That's what we're gonna do for the next 7 days. On day 3, we're supposed to do that, but we didn't. But we made it on day 4. We continued to answer Q&As. Now on day 4, we posted another post engagement post, and we got about 4,000 views. Again, what we're doing here is we're training the algorithm. Like, hey, we're training the algorithm to actually love us, because when we post those engagement story views, when people start interacting and Instagram starts pushing that story to the top section of someone's Instagram so they can view it first, right? And again, I told Samir to answer all the questions that were posted from this story to provide value, nurture the audience, right? And right now, you're not seeing this live, but right now he's literally nurturing a pool of audience. We're not even pitching, like a pool of audience who are ready to buy. Like at this stage, like they got aware, they're nurtured, they're almost ready to pull up their credit cards, but we haven't done it yet. So on day 5, another post engagement story, like, hey, what stage are you in trading, right? And like we got 5,000 views, and this is where we answered all the rest of the questions, providing values and that. And day 6 is where we did the pitch, right? And this is like will blow your mind, because again, we got 8,000 views on the day of the pitch, which was like literally 8,000 people are viewing our stories. And this is the power of nurturing the audience, warming up. And I'm going to show you how the DMs got flooded. And it's really amazing to see all of that, considering we're literally speaking to a minimal part of our audience who are trading now. Our next launch will basically be talking to people who want to make money online and slowly nurturing them to trading as a unique mechanism. All right. This is all psychology bullshit and psychology shit I've learned in the past years. So if you're watching this video and you do want someone to set all this up for you, click the first link in the description and you can book a call. So we can set, like, if you're an influencer who has a lot of followers or want to monetize their audience the right way, not necessarily a lot of followers, like you're a creator, you want to start really monetizing your audience, make a lot of money, just click the link, book a call, and we'll set all this up for you. Moving on, let's talk about a really psychological shift that we're going to do, which is shifting content, right? Shifting content to be a little bit more strategic on the Reels side, targeting higher quality traffic, right? Shifting content to target dream follower and not the ICP angle. Want to become a millionaire, attract dream followers so they can follow us and we can monetize them later on. Now, what is this section about? This section is really important because here we told Samir's content strategy was a little bit random, all over the place. He was getting views, but if you really wanted to get a quality follower that can buy, we wanted to shift our content slightly to be targeting our dream follower and not the ICP. So our ICP is traders, but our dream followers is people who want to make money online, who want to leave their jobs, who want to be not financially free, but another stream of income. So this is like the dream follower. And so the angle that he was working on that was really good is like, do you want to become a millionaire? And so this got a lot of engagement, and most of the followers that came from those, like most of the engagement that came from those stories are high quality followers. And this is exactly how it should be, because if we're posting random content here and there, we're just going to get views and clout and like some bullshit followers, which will dilute the quality of our audience. But if we start shifting our content towards our dream follower, which is like people who want to make money online, basically all around this document that we shared here, like we're talking to those people, the content will resonate more. And what we're doing here is we're targeting our dream follower and not the ICP. And I see a lot, like I see a big mistake with a lot of like influencers who want to start selling a course, or like influencers who are posting content in general that they're very random and they're not strategic, and because they haven't gone through all of this process before. So with your content, like you always want to speak to your dream follower and not the ICP, especially when you want to sell an offer soon. Again, his ICP was traders, and the thing with that, if we're gonna purely talk to the traders here, it's gonna be a problem because the TAM, which is the total addressable market, is gonna be very, very small. It's gonna be talking tactics, and not a lot of people will resonate with it, and it's not a reel that can get a lot of views and attention on a massive scale. But if we shift the content to basically the dream follower, which is people want to make money online, that's a bigger TAM, that's a much broader TAM. Not very broad, we're literally targeting everyone, but like people who are stuck in jobs, right? Like literally the document we had, like those middle-aged men that are stuck in jobs, 9 to 5, they don't want to quit their job, they need another stream of income. They're tired of doing the same thing over and over again. They want to get to do something new. They're aware of, other people making money online, so when they jump on that trend. And so if you speak to those people that are between 28 to 35 with an authentic voice, this is where you start building connection with your audience, right? There's a lot of nuances that goes to this, but like in short, this is how basically I'd envision it, at least. So more engagement, more quality followers, and more traction. This will feed our funnel, so we can convert our dream follower later on to a buyer, right? So quality views and not clout that will turn to followers, that will turn to buyers, right? As you can see right now, like with this content, we actually got less views than the other content that he did, but we got a lot of quality views and a lot of quality followers, and this is what we want. We don't want clout. We want to be strategic. We want to be direct, and this is the part of influence and being strategic with your content and being a sniper to exactly know who you're targeting, sacrificing that clout follower view phase. And really, if you want to start making money, you have to start being strategic, sacrifice that clout ego. It's like, I don't want to get 10 million views in my next reel. No, I want to get quality views. So I go a little bit to explain it here. So basically with Samir, it's like top of funnel, right? We need content that can feed our funnel. Our funnel is basically reels, like reels as a top of funnel content that will bring us those eyeballs talking to our dream followers. And as soon as they follow us, they can be nurtured by our story sequences, and then they can buy. So top of funnel, which is awareness content and not tactics, speaking to our dream follower and not the ICP. One big thing here is I always tell clients is on top of funnel content, it needs to be their internal thoughts before they go to sleep, their fears, their beliefs. They have to see your content and feel like this person really speaks to me. And that's where you build trust, convert that viewer to a follower instead of chasing clout. This is really, really important. Again, like this is very underrated what I'm speaking here. But with top of funnel content, what I advise our clients to do, which is we write all the scripts for them. We do basically the content strategy for them if they're open to it. Samir was doing his own, so he was really good at it. But what happens is like, when you really know your audience and who you're speaking to, you start going to ChatGPT and like chatting like, hey, what is my audience really think before they sleep? What is their internal beliefs? What is their like nightmares? What is their thoughts that keep them up at night? And if you can voice those thoughts into reels, right? This is where you can really build a connection with the audience, also get viral, also get quality followers, and get people to trust you. Because when you're speaking to what's on their mind, they're gonna be like, damn, I feel like this guy speaks to me. I like him. I'm gonna follow him, and I'm gonna keep an eye on him. All right. So this is really powerful. This is really psychological. When you really understand the power of your content, as you're being strategic of how you're placing your content, and at the same time, you're feeding your funnel with high quality traffic, so you can later on nurture them and make them buy with a very short sales cycle. By the way, like this takes. Every follower that goes to here will eventually buy after 14 to 1 month, or at least request an inquiry. All right. Now, MOF and BOF, like what is MOF and BOF? This is like very tactic specific, and it's like tactic specific for nurturing and speaking to the ICP only. It's like if Samir has a content calendar I would say like 70%, 80% of his content will be TOF, like speaking to internal desires, basically applying this. But MOF and BOF has to be nurturing, has to be like maybe 2 to 3 reels a month, sharing advice on trading, like speaking to the ICP, right? And again, this will not get a lot of views, and this will only speak to people who are following Samir. But it's really good to have that mix on your profile, because you can turn your profile to a content ecosystem. Again, a funnel. If they watch top of funnel content, then they can go to like, okay, I want to be a millionaire. I go to his content. I see another reel taken about how he got rich using trading, and then the third reel is like specific advice on trading, and then they're like more interested to basically build a connection with Samir. So this I can go ahead and like shoot another video talking about this, but I'm gonna keep this short for now. So basically offer creation. Now the biggest thing here, which is a lot of people mess up, which is they create their offer before going through, like they create their offer before diagnosing their audience, warming up their audience, and gathering data of their audience. Like this whole thing, like this basically the phases before, they ignore it and they should create an offer. This is what happened with an influencer we recently onboarded. She's a Dubai influencer, and she launched her digital playbook or an ebook, and she got like 6 sales, $49 or like $30. You see how very, like, it's very important to create your offer after you gather the data, diagnose your audience, because this will literally be the backbone of how you're gonna make money. And typically you only have a few shots of this because there's an audience that is watching you, so you don't want to think, like, you don't want to switch offers every time, so you want to be a sniper at the beginning. And after gathering all the data, warming up the audience, we really found that yes, there is a demand on Samir teaching content. There is a demand. So very simply, for our audience specifically, if he was in the US, we'd position the program differently. But since the online audience is in Lebanon, Jordan mostly, this is so powerful, because again, this is the power of diagnosing the followers of Samir and seeing what country they are in, to basically create a course, and the pricing as well. And again, most people do not even go through those phases because they think that they know their audience, but they really don't. So being a sniper at all times, and by us diagnosing the audience, collecting feedback from the Q&As as well, like where we're like every single element on this before this phase helped us create our offer. Now, what is our offer? Beginner course and advanced course. A beginner course for trading, advanced course for trading. A beginner costs $500, advanced is $1,000. If this was in the US, we'd do a program for like $10,000, because the quality of the US traffic will be much higher because there is a higher purchasing power. So the beginner course is $500. They get I think group coaching call. Advanced course they get more group coaching calls, like certain added benefits. And the reason why we created two is because there is a pocket of audience for this, and there is a pocket of audience for that. All right. Join our committee. We created like a simple funnel landing page. If people want to get to know more information about that, a small like video sales letter, or Samir talking about this offer, like, hey, I have this and I have that, and they called it the 1% league. Now, what is the sales process, right? How do we start turning people to cash? How do we start like getting people to buy our offer? So this is what I call the conversion mechanism. There's a lot of conversion mechanism out there. My favorite is story sequences at the best, because you get to pitch your offer on your stories, and there is no risk to it. You're not posting a reel. You're not sacrificing everything. It's like stories. There's literally minimal effort and high results, right? It's like literally the best sweet spot of pitching your offer, getting a lot of traction without ever putting out a reel or filming a production or whatever, planning to post a content about it, you know? So what is a conversion mechanism and what is a story sequence? A story sequence is where you pitch your offer, right? It's literally a sequence of stories posted in the same day of where you pitch your offer. I'm going to walk you throughout what is that. Let me show you some templates before and how you can actually get inspiration of what is story sequence and the power of them. All right, now I'm going to show you the power of story sequences. I'm going to share with you like a couple of templates that influencers do it, like a lot of people do it, that are really making money from story sequences. because they're really powerful. One story sequence can net you 10K, 50K, even $100,000 in cash in literally one day. That's the power of story sequences. Even if you have 50,000 followers or 10,000 followers, right? And the reason why they're very powerful, because you get to insert copy, psychological shifts, you got a lot of views, and then you ask for a CTA, you can turn them to a book call, and they're also their followers, your followers, who've been watching you for a long time. So the power of story sequences, they can really make you a lot of money, and it's a conversion mechanism. This is where you convert people to basically DM you. I'm going to show you one example from my mentor, which is called Dustin. All right, so this is my mentor, Dustin. He was sharing a story sequence he did. Let's actually read it and show you the power of story sequences and how you can collect a lot of money if you position them right. And yeah, so I identified a replicable framework to spot six-figure gaps, operating the top info product offers with almost a decade of experience. I discovered the blue ocean market with hundreds of creators selling low ticket but with no high ticket info offer, right? So he's speaking to a very specific ICB. Keep in mind, Dustin has like 30,000 followers and not a lot of story views, but I'm showing you the power of story views and how they can convert. The first story is making them aware. The second story is start to slowly gauging their interest, right? The only reason I was able to do this was because of one strategy, which allowed me to make 246K a month and inform my clients to print millions, right? It's like, okay, how? Like, I collected 182 from cash in 14 days with a market you've never considered, and simplest funnel, like gauging your interest, like, okay, making them want to click the next story. And then like, the 3 stages plan of attack, right? Create a one-on-one. It's like how I did it. Create a one-on-one 5K high ticket offer, position the offer, launch the offer. Then it goes over to explaining the 3 stages of plan of attack. I think this story is here, and then it slowly explains the 3 stages of attack. And then this is like the before the last story, the numbers. Here's the numbers breakdown, and then all done through a simple but proven funnel. And this is where he asks for a CTA. He did not insert it here, but he asks for a CTA, which basically, if you want to know more about how I do it, DM info, and then a lot of people will DM info, and basically he will turn those conversations into book calls. So how can we, again, this is a proven practice. A lot of other influencers, you can see, for example, this guy is called Breast Scales. He has a lot of followers on Instagram, I think 1 million. And story sequences are very powerful because if there's a conversion asset and they make a lot of money if positioned right. So how did we do a conversion mechanism or a story sequence for Samir? It's very simple. This is the story sequences. We posted around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stories or 10 stories. And this is very powerful because I'm going to show you the effect of them live. So when and where do you post story sequences and how? You only post them after you do like, you know, this prepping and launching thing where you start to gauge your interest and nurture them over a period of time. Here we only did 7 days because I wanted to target traders and it was enough for them to warm me up. So once you warm them up, you ask Q&As, what happens is you build a pool of audience who are consistently watching you every day and they're being nurtured. And this is where they're slowly putting up their credit card, and you do the ask on the 7th day and boom, you get like, you train the algorithm to get you a lot of views at the day you want to pitch. And you made sure that your audience was nurtured. You made sure that you've basically shared a lot of value. And so the only point to left is like, hey, like I want like Samir to have an offer. So what we did is another engagement post, which is like how long I've been trading. And this one got like 5,000 or 6,000 views, 7,000 views. And this is where we started the story sequence, right? And it's, again, the reason inserting polls or engagement, you don't want to overdo it, but across your stories, really tricks the algorithm to boost your stories more because people are engaging with them. So there, I did another engagement story. So I did this first engagement story, and after 3 hours, I posted this story sequences because I wanted Instagram to, like I want to trick Instagram to get the algorithm to boost views up, and then I want to push the story sequence so I can have as much as people watching me. And this is really powerful because the first time we did a story sequence, we did no warm up, and we got like 1,000 views. But we got a lot of sales. Like we made like $4,000 or $5,000, which is really, really cool, based off like 1,000 views and like 40 DMs. So the story sequence is like, hey, making them feeling aware, like, hey, I've created something that really is available for the trading niche, and it's like I identified a couple of gaps. The first gap is this, the second gap is this, the third gap is this, and this is where we do the pitch. DM apply. This is where we release the offer. This is like a case study or proof of concept. Like last time we did this, a lot of people messaged us and we closed the application, so we're reopening up again. So you only have a few time to actually apply it. And again, the first story got 8,000 views, which is really, really good, because the first story sequence we had, the first story got around 2,000 views. Now we got 8,000 views. How did we do it? It's because we've been training the algorithm for the past 7 days to up the views and nurture the audience and warming them up. So what is the effect of all of this? Once you do that, you basically get your DMs flooded. Every DM you see is money. It's like literally money, like half closed people. All you have to do is get them on a call through a setting process and collect the cash. Now, of course, not everyone's going to pay, but everyone is like engaged and interest. Those are like the warmest people you can ever sell. And this is where the magic comes in. We have a setter who's handling all the DMs. So how do we turn those DMs into conversation? Here's a setting process. When someone presses apply, we ask them a few questions like, hey, hello, are you thinking of getting into trading, or do you have trading experience? I'm beginner, good, always started from somewhere. How do you feel trading fits in your life goals? I'm losing, I understand, I've been through it myself, it's not easy. What do you feel mostly contributed to your losses? That I have to learn more in order to recover my losses. Good point. And what exactly are the numbers that are you looking for? I need to make like $2,000. Ambitious but achievable. The right strategy. What do you feel like are the next steps? I don't know. I'll tell you. And then literally we get them to drop their phone number and we book a call with them. Right now, this is a very simple setting process. Here we're doing a lot of qualification, which I don't think is the best. We're not going to do this in our next launch, but the reason why we did that is because we received a lot of DMs, so we had to really qualify the audience. So we don't get every booked call on our sales people calendar, which will flood their calendars, and they're like we only wanted quality bookings, right? But for the next story, we're gonna do like this had a lot of friction, and it decreased our DMs, decreased our booked calls a lot. But this is like basically how you qualify and a DM setting process happens, so you can get someone to book a call with your calendar from that story sequence. How does this sale happen? They book a call on your calendar, and then you get a closer, or you yourself, you can even go on those calls and you can close them and collect the cash. As you can see here, here are some people who closed from the story sequence, just a few of them, like 1,000. Right now we're at pace, we're like the first month doing $30,000. I think we surpassed $30,000, and I think 35 and 40K, and we're on pace to do 100K in 3 months. All right. This is very, very simple. Like, we haven't even launched anything, and just like a 7-day warm up. And this is to teach you the power of story sequences, right? Obviously, there's a lot of things we can get into. Again, if you want this all to be set up for you, you're an influencer, you want to start monetizing your audience, we can do all of this setup. Click the link, book a call, and see if you qualify for me to help you. So, infrastructure, payments, and software, right? Financing can increase revenue by 30%, right? So, if you're in UAE or Middle East, you can have Tamara Tabi in it. So Tamara Tabi, if someone is not qualified to buy your $1,000 offer in one go, you can have them split it up by 4 months, 6 months, or 12-month payment. You can set up WAP, and once you set up WAP as financing, you literally get access to all the financing options below WAP. So you don't lose the portion of the customers who like basically are 30 to 40% who can buy your offer, but they don't have the full money right now. Those financing options pay you in full. They take a little bit of percentage, and the customer can finance to the company. So the company handles all the risk. You get your full money, and you get a customer. Again, this is the full process. I kid you not, guys. This is like just 30% of what we do for our clients. Like, there's a lot of shit that goes into. We basically do this all done for you: scripting, writing content, positioning the offer, funnels, websites, every single thing you guys are seeing here that can take you to make you real money and start monetizing your audience in the right, efficient way, very healthy, very safe, get you even more traction, more views, positioning you as a trust authority. There's a lot of shit that goes into it. We have also clippers that are going to clip content, making the influencer go viral. We have another offer we're going to launch soon. We have another webinar launch we're going to do soon. So this is an easy track of how we're taking this client from 0 to 100K a month. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you do want this all set up for you or your clients, then book a call. And I'll see you guys in the next one.